Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, welcome to our group video. Well, from group 7 English History and Literature. Our group consists of Alda, Donan, Perry, and me, Rizky. In this video, we want to explain more about what is the medieval literature and Chaucer Canterbury tales. Let me explain first about what is the medieval literature. Medieval literature is not a genre, it is a compilation of all literature which written around that time. The medieval itself comes from the Latin word medieval, which means Middle Ages. It was first introduced into the England in the 19th century, a time when there was heightened interest in the art, history, and thought of Middle Age Europe. Middle Age started in the age of antiquity in the 5th century, until the age of Renaissance in the late 15th century. One of the famous English writers at the time was Geoffrey Chaucer, who was born in London around 1340s to a family with some ties to a government bureaucracy, especially in court and minting. He traveled widely throughout Europe, so he's not just able first in English, but he also able to speak in Latin, French, and Italian. He has been called the father of English literature, or alternatively, the father of English poetry. Chaucer also gained fame as a philosopher and astronomer. His famous writing is the Canterbury Tales. It is a collection of the poetry which first ever book that were written in English. This book mainly tells us about Chaucer's experience during his trip to Southwark, from Southwark to Canterbury. It is actually unfinished work because he died before he finished his book. Actually, he wanted to write around 30 pilgrims, but only 24 were complete. The story of the book, sometimes serious and sometimes full of humor, is kind of variation. Most of people said that one of the chapters, the non-priest tale, related to the upper mob jokes. Every story in this book describes the nature and the vices of human character, especially the religion is misappropriation.
Hello guys, I am Alda and I'm going to explain about the Canterbury Tales summary by Geoffrey Chaucer, so keep watching. The Canterbury Tales is a framed narrative or a story told around another story or stories. The frame of the story opens with a gathering of people at the Tabard Inn in London who are preparing for their journey to the shrine of St. Becket in Canterbury. This is a yearly occurrence, and Chaucer is among the people preparing for the journey. The host of the inn suggests that they all take turns telling a tale as they travel. Whoever tells the best tale, to be judged by the host, will receive a free meal upon their return. Canterbury Tales consist of the stories related by the 29 pilgrims on their way to St. Thomas Becket's shrine in Canterbury, such as the general prologue, the knights, the millers, and so many as you can see, and ends with Chaucer's resurrection. Not all the tales are complete. Several contain their own prologues or epilogues. There should have been 120 tales in all according to the original plan, but Chaucer only completed 23 tales. Out of this, the cook's and the squire's tales are unfinished. 2 tales are imperfectly attributed to the teller. The sea captain's tale begins as though a woman were telling it and was actually earlier meant for the wife of the bath, while the second nun refers to herself as an unworthy son of Eve. The knight tells the first tale. In the prologue are portraits of all levels of English life. The order of the portraits is important because it provides a clue as to the social standing of different occupations. The pilgrims presented first are representative of the highest social rank, a social rank descended with every new pilgrim introduced. The primary function of these opening lines is to provide a physical setting and the motivation for the Canterbury pilgrimage. Chaucer's original plan to have each pilgrim tell the stories on the way to Canterbury, and two more on the way back, was never completed. Tales only on the way to the Canterbury. Highest in the social rank are representatives of the aristocracy or those with pretensions toward nobility. First in this group are the knight and his household, including the squire. The second group within those of the highest social standing includes the prioress, the monk, and the friar, who ought to be the lower class, but who, as a peace beggar, has begged so well that his prosperity ironically slips him into the company of the nobles. Of these pilgrims, probably only the knight and his son, the squire, qualify as true aristocrats both outwardly or inwardly. The gentilis, refinement resulting from good breeding of the prioress of the monk, is largely external and affected.
Following this class are pilgrims whose high social rank is mainly derived from commercial wealth. Included in this group are the merchant, who illegally made much of his money from selling French coins, a practice that was forbidden in England at that time. A sergeant of law, who made his fortune by using his knowledge as a lawyer to buy up foreclosed property for practically nothing. The clerk, who belongs with this group of pilgrims because of his gentle manners and extensive knowledge of books. The franklin, who made enough money to become a country gentleman and is in a position to push for a noble station. It is evident both from the relationship of the franklin's portrait to that the guildsman, and from the Harry Bailey's scornful remarks to him, however, that he is not yet of the noble class. Next of pilgrims is the guildsman, consisting of men who belong to something similar to specialized unions of craftsmen's guilds. Among this group of specialized laborers are the haberdasher, the dyer, the carpenter, the weaver, the tapestry maker. None of them tell a tale. The middle class of pilgrims comprises the next lower position of social rank. First presented in this group is the cook, whom we might consider out of place, rank too high, but who, as a master of his trade, is greatly respected by his fellow travelers. Also included in this social class are the shipmen, because of his immense knowledge of and travel throughout the world, and the physician, a doctor of medicine, a career that was less revered in the Middle Ages than it is now. The wife of Bath, who is the last of this group to be presented, is included in this group because of her knowledge and deportment and her many other pilgrimages. The parson and the plowman comprise the next group of pilgrims, the virtuous, poor, and lower class. Each, although very poor, represents all the Christian virtues. And the last group of pilgrims included those of the immoral lower class. Among this group of pilgrims are the municipal, who profit from buying food for the lawyers in the Inns of Court, and the vulgar miller, who steals from his customers. The reeve tells dirty stories and cheats his trusting young master, and the corrupt summoner takes bribes. Last and most corrupt in this litany of undesirables is the pardoner, who sells false pardon and fake relics.
Themes are the central ideas that exist in the literary works. It works as an essential element in making a compelling and persuasive story. themes in the Canterbury Tales, an extraordinary work of Geoffrey Chaucer, is diverse and unique. The themes is not only deal with the comedy and tragedy, but also show immoral and corrupt standards of the church in early 14th century. Some of the major themes in the Canterbury Tales will be discussed here.
Social. Social is the major theme of the Canterbury Tales. The medieval society was set on three foundations: the nobility, the church, and the peasantry. Chaucer's satire targets all segments of the medieval social issues: human immorality and depraved heart. For example, he exposes each social layers of his pilgrims and beautifully illustrates how they failed to fulfill their actual duties. Second is love and sexual. The Knight's Tale, in the general prologue, is an obvious example of courtly love, where two knights fight for the hand of a fair lady. The intensity of love makes them forget oaths and duties towards the state. Apart from love, sexual desire also plays a major role in the Canterbury Tales. For examples, The Miller's Tale is based on sexual desire, and The Wife of Bath's Tale represents the lust and sexual desire of the lady. Therefore, love and sexual themes are common features of medieval society discussed by Chaucer. Third, corruption. The idea of corruption also upholds thematic significance in the Canterbury Tales, because most of the characters associated with the church are not so religious, pious, or dutiful as they must be. The Pardoner's Tale is the best example of corruption. He is a medieval preacher assigned with the duty to collect money for holy purposes. However, the collection is not for a religious purpose. Instead, he fills his own pocket. While narrating the tale, he doesn't seem to have any regret and displays pride for his action. Competition. Competition is another major theme in the Canterbury Tales. It is explicitly stated in tales as well as present among the pilgrims. The Knight's Tale is set on the theme of competition, where two prisoners fall in love with the same girl. Out of these tales, the pilgrims also set the competition of storytelling. They seem to be impatient as well, as Miller jumps in to tell his tale after the knight without waiting for his turn. Everyone tries to tell the best story, continuing the competition, even though most of the story are the version of the stories already told. Christianity. The thematic significance of Christianity can be marked by the fact that the tales take place in a religious setting, where everyone is going on a religious pilgrimage. Most of the notable figures of the church, the monk, the nun, the parson, and the friar, are detailed in the general prologue, representing distinct areas of the church of that time. Therefore, Chaucer has artistically painted the picture of the custodians of the church having spoiled the true spirit of Christianity. Justice. The thematic value of justice and judgment can be seen in the tales that demand answer. For instance, the Knight's Tale asks, who was a better knight, Arcite or Palamon? The Franklin's Tale also possesses a question to the audience to consider each of the characters and decides who is the most generous. Therefore, judgment plays an active role in most of the tales. The last is rivalry. Rivalry also holds a thematic value in the Canterbury Tales. There are rivals in storytelling who insult each other. Palamon and Arcite in the Knight's Tale forget their brotherhood and become rivals to marry Emily. Their rivalry causes tension in the group. Chaucer presents how competition can quickly turn a friend into an enemy.